We're live.
So today on the SprueCast, we are going to be talking about 9th edition of Warhammer. We've all got something we're going to show, but for right now, we're going to talk about what we've been working on. I think I'm going to let Mark go first.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. I haven't done too much this week, really. I'll just let me bring that down before I bring that camera up. It's a little bit of an awkward fit. And let me just bring this in here. As you can see, I'm working on my Snowberry. It's a 1/72 Platinum Edition. And this is literally this is a long project. There's lots going on. So I'm sort of doing the front area at the moment.
That was great.
And I did send some pictures out, and I was some time ago. I believe they were the hedgehog mines I put together, and I made a very, very poor job of them. Very, very poor. So I have took them all out one at a time. I have broke about 3, and I'm redoing them because they're so poor. How I ever let them go in that condition is beyond me. So it's a very, very slow project. There's lighting going in. We've got a light there. We've got one in here. And all the port, is it port side? Or broad side?
You got me. I have no idea.
Yeah, well, they're all, there's lighting in there. You can see that I've put, I've tried to put the effect of, what are they called? Little barnacles, yeah, and seaweed and stuff. I've tried to add seawater effects, and that's where I'm at. So although it looks as though I've done quite a lot very early on in the build, really, probably about let's say about quarter of the way through, and that is literally I'm going to say that's all I've done this week. I'm just trying. I was on the FW 190A, the Fucker Wolf. Yeah, but I had so basically I had a complete mojo meltdown, lost my mojo completely, and okay, I'll be honest, I was coming on tonight to announce that I was having 2 weeks off, and then suddenly 2 nights ago I watched a guy, is it called Midwest Model Builder or something like that, and he was building a 1/200th scale trumpeter USS Missouri, and I got so engrossed in the whole video. I watched about 3 of them on the run, and yeah, it just the old sneaky mojo crept in the back door, and before I knew where I was, it had planted itself back, and we're good to go. So
there you go.
It's you know, you can't explain how mojo works.
I like that weathering you got on there, man. It looks good.
Yeah, and to be honest, I know nothing about weathering, so all this I've learned as I've gone along. Much of this I've had to practice, and a lot of this, yeah, I've learned as I've gone along. So that's about it, really, for me.
It looks really, really good.
Yeah, it looks good.
Thank you. I'm really pleased with it.
I like it.
Gil, do you want to show your baby Yoda?
I'm up to here with Yodas, man. Yeah, I've got this thing here. Let me see if I can switch this camera around without kicking myself out. Hold on. And there we go. And we'll get to this later. But this is I'm doing this one for my wife. She's a big Baby Yoda fan. This is a NY3D Creations piece.
So cool.
And I've gotten to the point where I can paint these in my sleep now, you know. But yeah, he's not glued down. I got his eyes painted on the inside there. You know, I put a little bit of I'm gonna tone that little rosy color down just a shade with a green shade, you know, just to blend it all in. I just wanted it to dry. I'll hit it with a brush on some dull coat, let that dry, and then I'll go over it with a green shade just to tone it all down. But because the Baby Yoda, he's got like a little pinkish right around the eyes and stuff. So that's what I did there. I mean, you can't really see the eyes are just. I'm really happy the way those eyes came out.
They look beautiful.
Yeah. And that we'll call it a knapsack, right? That's probably the best one you've done yet.
Oh, his little cloak here thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the way they came out. I tried a couple of different colors, and that's actually this color here. Well, the top of it is a brown sand with some white added to it from Vallejo, and this color is actually it's from Reaper. It's an oiled leather, and then I took a little bit of this, you know, mixed it in with the oiled leather, and that's where I got the highlights. And then the dark that you see in there, that's Liquitex ink inside there. You know, sprayed some ink on it, you know. And then over here, of course, you know, the little wet, you know, highlights I got in there and stuff. And then I started on this base yesterday. I had to let it dry. This is just some cork, you know, broken up. This is some of that Liquitex resin sand. You know, you just brush it on, let it dry, and it gives it a little texture. So I'm going to go ahead and do this today, start painting this. And then there's a little frog there. So, yeah, that's about all I've been doing. I mean, I just trying to get this done. I'm prepping a couple other things that I needed to do. But, yeah, that's where I'm at. So that's all I've done.
So kind of what I've been working on is this. I actually got paint onto the car. I still very much. Oh, let's see if I can get this. I mean, I love how this orange turned out.
Is that rattle can or airbrushed?
No, this is that Wicked thing.
Okay, that's right.
I figured out how to get it to be in a brighter orange with a green base.
Uh-huh.
And yeah.
Sorry, what was that? You with the green base?
Gray.
Oh, sorry, grey.
But yeah, I mean, I pretty much got the rest of that painted. And then this week, I basically put these three guys together, and this is going to be part of the topic later. But I started painting these three.
Uh-huh.
I love the blue on this. The blue turned out really, really cool. And this isn't some of the new Army Painter stuff. It's this.
Is that a Citadel blue?
No.
Just a regular acrylic.
Yeah, it's just this Master Touch stuff that I was just playing around with the other night.
Because Citadel do have some beautiful blues in their range.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, I do. Yes, they very much do. But so, needless to say, we're gonna be talking about the 9th edition. So here's the 3 figures from the new Anonymous box. I put these together so everybody could kind of see kind of what they look like. I mean, they turned out really, really cool. And some of the new figures and stuff are not like they used to be. Like before, they'd actually have the whole figure, but now the bottom part of the figure is on the base. Then you build up.
Those are those snap fit ones now, right?
Yeah. So like this guy, like half of a leg, the body, and I think the arm one of the arms was all one piece. And then the back was a piece and the backpack was one piece. So they're getting these to where they look better.
All right. So that are you saying that the Citadel are now sort of snap tight?
Yeah.
Yeah, these are. Yeah, I don't know if they're going to do that with all of them, but I know these are.
The last 3 or 4 boxes I've bought now have all been that way of the new stuff.
Okay.
And the only thing I will say is if you put these together is you want to kind of put them together first to see how they kind of go together. Because this guy, there's a little bitty stem in between the shoulder and the head. The head and the shoulder were all one piece. And it had to fit around this little curve thing right here. So if I'd have glued the front and back together and then went to go do the head, I would have like kicked someone really, really hard.
There's the thing that I've seen with these snap fit things. There's it's great, because you don't need glue, but the problem is you end up with some gaps on some places there.
I see. I've been gluing these together. I don't know if I would.
Like on that bike, like that bike you have there. There's a real nasty seam that runs the length of that bike, right on the top of it. I've seen that in videos where they snap in there, and if you don't glue that, if you don't nip it and glue it down, right there, we're in front of the handlebars there, that flat piece. You could see that seam. It's really nasty. I think I saw that on Spiky Bits. He was showing that. If you snap it in there, you got a nasty seam in there.
So do you think they're aiming these more at younger builders to try and get them in? I don't know.
At the price of these things, I don't know how they're going to get younger builders in there, but yeah, I think they're going more for the quick build, so you can quickly put them together and paint them. Now, people like us, modelers like us, we get a hold of those. Now, I don't play. We'll get into the discussion of that. I don't play the game. I just like the figures. So we see when we see a model like that, we want to fill all the cracks in, and all the seams and all that other stuff. That's one of the reasons I really don't like doing the smaller figures, because man, they're a pain in the rear end, man. I've got a bunch of them, but they're just a pain. Because then you look at it with a modeler's eye, you're like, oh man, I got to fill this, and it could take a long time to make them. You know how we are. We all got ADHD, man. We all want everything perfect,
So like this stuff, I love.
Oh yeah, stuff like that, yeah. The bigger stuff.
They're the mid-sized ones, aren't they?
Yeah. But you have this. I mean,
look at that. The detail on them is exquisite.
Yeah, I mean they're. I don't. It's kind of weird to say, but like the last year, I don't know what has happened over there, but the figures are looking like night and day different. Like I don't know if they've just gotten a new approach, or these might not show up so well because they're white, but yeah, I mean, these are 2 years ago, and there's lots of detail in the base, but the figure just doesn't really pop like that guy does.
Well, yeah, those Age of Sigmar don't have the detail that the other ones do.
Yeah,
they never did.
But that's part of the thing too, right? So basically, what we're going to talk about today is the topic is 9th edition Warhammer. They came out with this anonymous box, I think, to start it out with, and it's the 9th edition. So that means there's 9 different rule sets for each campaign. And this one, from what I haven't read, I haven't had time to read the whole book, which is like 200 pages long. But it sounds like they're going back in time, so they're going to be re-enter. That's why I think the Necrons are back. I thought at one point they were getting rid of all that, but maybe I don't really follow the game or the lore. I just like doing some of the figures. But when I bought this, I mean, these are some of the freebies. This is basically a comic book with a bunch of pictures in the back. I mean, that's some of the pictures that we're gonna see. And cool. This one right here is the figure I put together. So he's got a lot of detail in him. It's just crazy. But what I want to bring up is the price point of this kit. I just have such a hard time. Like, I paid $166 for this box. But I know some people have paid well over $200.
They're crazy.
Well, I would like to bring up that. Sorry to bring this up, but
no, good.
I find that Games Workshop, there was a documentary on them a few years ago, and they pay pennies to have their models created. They're models that they sell for, I don't know, $100 or...
Switch your camera, Mark, so we can see you.
Yeah, sorry. Or $150. That, you know, those kits, they're paying a tiny fraction of that to have them made. And there was this whole documentary on them. It was quite some years ago now, but from what I can gather, nothing's really changed. They have such a massive markup rate on their product, and it's I don't know. It's the one thing that pulls me back every time I go into a Games Workshop store. I see their kits and I really like them, and I want to go and buy the stuff like Gil's going to show later, and I think, yeah, I'd love to paint that. But then I think, they've probably only paid £5 to have that made, and then they're boxing it up, and now they want 120 quid off me.
That's what stops me from buying a lot of them. But to be honest,
and that's what stops me. I just think greed. Why should I? That's just my opinion.
Well, this is, and I belong to a couple of those Warhammer communities. And if put it on all three of us, Mark, so we can see how I can understand what you're saying, because I like painting the Night Titans. I love painting. But $130 a pop, that's not bad, considering I used to sell them. I used to buy them, paint them, and sell them. And it was great. But when you're looking at look, like my grandson, he wants to get into it. Like what Josh just said, what, you $160, Josh? You said you paid for that?
I found it on sale, and I was like, no, I can't pass that deal up.
I mean,
that's $40.
How do you, and I see these guys, well, if you can't afford it, you shouldn't be playing.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I understand that too. If you got the money and the capital. I know guys that we got Richard Whaley. He's been doing it since the 80s.
Oh my God. This
guy has got thousands of these, and I can't even begin to imagine how much he's got invested into that. I mean, he's literally has thousands of them. And you know what? That's his thing. He's got no other vice other than that, and rebuilding his house, stuff like that there. But Jesus, man, I mean, for someone like me, there's no way I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. It just the price point. And then when you're talking about the markup, well, you guys, once they went public and you got shareholders, the shareholders want their money, so what do you do? Same thing with their paint. I mean, that little thing right there, here, $5, $3 to $5 for this right here.
But just a little tiny little spoiler. We have got some news later on in tonight's show where they seem to maybe listening to the modeler, and yeah, just something to watch out for there in a short time.
Those pots are designed for your damn paint to dry out. So if you I can't tell you how many. I mean, I've got a whole range of them behind me, and I can't tell you how many times I've only used it once. I go to use it again, it's dried up.
Yeah,
and it's like there's another $5 on the toilet.
I think all the professional guys I follow, I think they all switch them over to the dropper bottles at some point. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. I don't understand. It's like that's got to be the marketing ploy to get them, get you to buy more, I guess.
Oh, and then they came out with these bigger bottles, and that's $7. So it's like, okay,
yeah. But why don't they listen? I don't understand this. It's not like it's just the odd few people that have a complaint. It's everybody that opens these bottles. What a pain in the ass they are.
Because they know those bottles are shit. I mean, I can show you one right here that the paint just crusts up on them. I wipe it down or whatever, but it's just I mean, I can go on an extended rant about these bottles, but I won't.
So I'm gonna flip it the other way now. What I have found dealing with when you buy these is you want to buy the box sets. Like I have, where'd it go? This figure right here. This figure right here. $40 is what this one goes for if you don't buy it in a box set.
That's ridiculous. That's just fun. Excuse me. That's just
But if you buy the box set, you get this figure plus I don't have that box in front of me, but I think there's like 25 other figures. So now this figure went from 40 to like $3 or something like that. And even $3, I mean, that's not better. That's better.
Yeah.
And for me, I there's a guy local to me that gives kind of a discount. So when I go in, like I bought 4 Night Titans at once, and it knocked the price down to like $100 a piece. So I just did it all at once. So it made it easier financially for me to get that stuff. I mean, yeah, it's a big chunk of change, but I got what I kind of wanted out of it.
Yeah.
For the most part, I mean, I've I've kind of went off the deep end somewhat because, and I've been collecting for the last 4 years, so I don't have that big library that some people do, but it's expensive.
Yeah, Gigs Workshop and Forge World, especially. Don't get me going on Forge World. I've had to put together some of those Night Titans, and that resin is just atrocious, man.
So the one thing that I was going to show was the paint, this technical paint. It's the new glow effect. I really like it. It's got more. I think this color alone. I don't know if Tesseract glow.
Does it glow?
Oh yeah, I'll show you a couple figures here in a second. It really works. I've only put one coat down on these figures, but it really worked. I mean. Oh, that's not going to show, is it? Oh, I might have to do it this way. See the glow on that? I don't know if it'll show up.
No, it's not really showing up, Josh. It's whiting out.
Let's try another. See how there we go. See how the glow just comes right off that quarter panel or the shield part of that horse? And that's just one coat. It just brightens up the whole thing so it shows. I also did it in the eyes.
That looks.
What did you pay for that jar?
It's a technical paint, so I think I paid $475. I think.
All right.
Oh no. $663 is what I paid for this.
Okay, it's a nice paint, but you could have bought the same. You could have got the same effect for $1.50.
Yeah. I mean, and that was the other thing I was going to show too. Is I mean, it's a wash. So, you know, I have a neon green here.
I don't know whether the color's coming across different, but when you showed it in front of the camera, it looked more yellow than green.
Yeah, that's because the pigment settles. And I mean, you look at the side of it. Yeah. And then you open it up, and it does have when all the paint settles, this whole top part turns into yellow. So it does change.
Hey, Mark, put the camera on me for a minute. He paid $6 for that.
Yeah.
For £8, the same paint. For $2.50, the same paint. This is a craft paint that I use a lot.
Yeah. Right.
Yep. Yeah.
And this is the Vallejo fluorescent.
Right.
Now, I've used these. I don't know if you guys saw that. Remember that dragon I did? And that was coming up?
Mm-hmm.
That was these two paints right here.
Mm-hmm.
And the glow on that is just phenomenal. Beautiful. I mean, and the cool thing about it is if it's upstairs, it's in the light, and I turn all the lights off at night, you see everything glowing.
So how do they stay in business?
Fanboys.
Yeah.
Like me. I like their paints. Don't get me wrong. I got a lot of them. I love their paints. Especially, I love their Flash Gets Yellow. I love the reds.
Oh yeah. I've got the Flash Gets Yellow. I used it yesterday, in fact.
Yeah. I love their Blood for the Blood God. You know, I love their Agrats Earthshade. You know, because it's really nice. I love the way it works. You know, I use it a lot. But see, what I tend to do is I'll use the Agrats Earthshade, and then I'll take a little bit of a Liquitex ink and darken it up a little bit. But yeah, I mean, I this one here I find has been with this piece right here that I did.
Yeah, the jade.
And I got people ask me how I got that color. Well, that's a jade. It was shot in MRP, not MRP, Pro Acryl jade. This stuff right here from Pro Acryl. So it was shot in their jade, but I found that their jade was a little bit too bright for what I wanted. So once I shot it over that, you know, I had the white, of course, and then I did that. I took a wash of a real thin wash of Liquitex ink, you know, and I just ran it over certain areas, you know. And then this stuff here, I love this stuff. This Typhus Corrosion, this stuff right here.
Yeah.
Not had that before.
And it's like a dirty color, you know, real muddy, dirty, corroded looking color. And I made a wash out of that, and I washed the whole thing over that. And it muted it down, but it gives it that look of aged marble, you know. So yeah, I mean, I love their paints. I hate their fucking pops. And this stuff right here, you're talking about $5 for that. For $3.50, $4 US for that right there.
I just don't understand why don't they? Can they not realise that if they reduce their prices, even by a small fraction, they would be earning less per bottle, but more people would probably buy it. And if they change their bottle style to a dropper bottle or something more, more in keeping with what everyone else uses, they would increase their sales even more.
I don't. They've got a specific set of a specific market, and it works for them. People are gonna buy the paints. I get like those. What are those glazing ones they got? What do they call those?
The contrast paints.
That to me is just a waste of money. Those are washes. That's all it is.
Yeah,
it's a highly pigmented one.
I did buy the contrast paints, but I haven't got their washes. So if I'd have bought their washes and then bought their contrast paints, I probably would have been a bit, well, what the hell have I got here?
Well, I know there's going to be some people out there that'll say they're not washes, they're glazes.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, wait. The contrast paint was supposed to replace the glazes.
Yes.
So that's why they're like that.
But but if you paint, if you know how to work paint, you can make a glaze.
Mm-hmm.
All you need is some glazing medium. Like they got that lamium medium, and excuse me, my allergies. They have that lamium medium, and they tell you got to use this and where's all that other nonsense. Yeah, but you know what? You could use Liquitex, matte medium, or you can use this right here, Vallejo glazing medium. This stuff right here to make your glazes. I mean, I don't see. I get it why some people would buy them, like beginners, whatever. They want to, really quickly do that. But me as a painter, to me, it's just a waste of money. I've got the paint here. I can make my own glazes, So, but I see why they're doing it. They saw a need for it in their community, and they did it. I mean, I can't fault them for their business. I mean, they're doing what a business does, make money.
Yeah.
And they got shareholders. That's the thing. They got shareholders that they need to answer to. So the shareholder says, "Hey,
they're doing well," and as we're going to see soon, they've released some new products as well.
Right. So what else you got, Josh?
So, Mark, do you want to show some of the new products? I pretty much was going to show the paint, some of the new figures.
Okay, so if that's okay, I have got a list of items that they were going to be bringing out.
Sure, go ahead. And then we'll show a couple of these things that you can do with them.
Yeah.
Just bear with me a second while I figure out what I've done with them.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. I had them all lined up to go. Oh, here we are. Right. So I just need to... Right. Okay, so I'm just going to share my screen now, or one of my screens. Share screen. And we're going to go with this one. And share. And you should have... So this is where I buy most of my stuff from. And this is Mike Jolly's Model Kits for Less. I've picked this one because he's got a list of them all ready for me to go. This is not the same price they'll be everywhere, but it's this sort of average price. So this is what I was referring to earlier. Warhammer have brought out these. And is this the one I'm on about?
That's one of the paint. That's just the paint. That's just the starter paint set.
Right. Yeah. So sorry. This is a starter paint set they've got coming out. And there's how many paints are in that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So you got 12 paints in there. Mike's doing them for 21 quid plus post. That is a good value.
Well, that's a good bargain because you get a sprue cutter in there, you get a file, and you get a little seam scraper.
Yeah, that's excellent value.
On top of the paint, yeah.
Yeah. So, I know I moaned earlier about how expensive they are compared to how much they cost to make. But it seems with this latest, are these 9th edition, Josh? I don't know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
So with these 9th edition kits, they actually seem to have listened. We actually have some products that you could go in and you would look at that if you're a Warhammer builder, and you would look at that and think, my God, that's excellent value for money.
It is a good value.
Yeah. So that's that one. Just bear with me while we move down to the next one. And this is a new starter set, I believe, that comes in 4 different flavors. Unfortunately, I don't have the price for these.
Well, that's the Indominus, is it? No, that's
no,
that's different. Okay. Elite edition.
These are new starter sets. There's a Recruit edition, an Elite edition, and a Command edition. Now, all I can say is normally the starter sets, the Recruit edition is normally around £50 with the older type kits. Am I correct in that, Josh?
I don't know about that, but in the States, the starter box is going to be probably about $80 here and go from there.
Yeah, so the starter set would be about 55, 60 years, so that probably works out about right.
So in that picture, the smaller box is probably 85.
This one at the front here on the right-hand side, that's your smaller box.
Yeah. The next one up's probably somewhere between 130 and 150, and the other one's going to be over $200
here in the States.
Yeah,
that's in the States. I don't, as it says there, there's no price yet on those, but he will let you know as it becomes knowledgeable. Just moving down a bit more. We've got this one, which is now. I think this is a very good price for a 40k Warhammer 40k Elite Edition, 55 quid, and that includes postage. I think that's very good. If I can just move it down so you can see a little bit more. It's a little bit like the starter set I've got behind me that I haven't opened yet. It looks very much similar to that.
Yeah.
And that gives you everything you need, doesn't it, to start?
That's going to be 55 pounds is $71.98 here in the States.
Is it? I don't know. Is that a good value?
For what you're getting, that's because you get a little mat, you get all that. If you're gonna start and play, and
yeah, you get your dice. I think you get a little booklet. You don't get the hardback book. I don't think they're the ones that cost all the money.
Now you buy that in the Games Workshop store, you're probably gonna pay $80-$90 for that.
Yeah, but the new book is in the Anonymous box. That's why the Anonymous box is so much.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So moving on. I should have told everyone before I started. I don't know anything about Warhammer. I've bought some kits, but I'm just I'm playing catch up here.
You're like me. You're like me, Mark. We're just tourists.
Yeah, this is the one I was most excited to see, I believe. Let me just bring this up. No, it's still not that one. This is another. Is that the same one? No, it's smaller, isn't it? It's a bit smaller, and that's very good value actually. That's £24.75.
Yeah, that's not too bad.
Yeah,
that's not bad at all.
That's the recruit edition. So yeah, that's very good. I'm looking for the one that's really surprised me. Let me just see if I can. Right.
That one.
Yeah, it's down there. I just want to show you this one because this is one that I believe Josh is going to be showing a bit of this later. So I'm just going to quickly show you the
Dominus, yeah.
That's very popular at the moment.
Yeah, that's $200. I found one on really cheap, so I pulled the trigger on it. But that box is $200, and
so I think Mike's doing it currently.
125 pounds.
No, that's the
It's right there.
price.
It's right there. Dominus English, 125 pounds.
Yeah, if you look, MJR price 101.5.
Oh, okay.
£101.50, and that includes postage. And they're due in the country 27th of July. Well, that's already passed, so I don't know whether they're here or not. And that's been very popular, as you can see. He's had 120.
Oh, yeah, it's all over the internet. They've already.
And my last one, which is the one that I was most impressed with, after all the moaning and groaning I'd done about Citadel and Warhammer, they brought out this, which was like. So basically, with this, you get 3 small models and the paints to paint them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them for £17.75.
Yeah, that green in there is the green that Josh just showed us.
Yeah. The recommended retail price is $22.50. So it's going to be about that if you buy it direct from Warhammer or Citadel.
So in the US, that box is $35 or so, and that's still you can't. I think the figures alone are like $15.
Yeah, how much is one of them paints there? They're about £3.75 to £4 something here.
Those are the smaller bottles. Those aren't the bigger bottles like Josh had, though. I think.
No, they're the smaller bottles. But even at £4 each, you've got 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. You've got 24 quid's worth of paint. You've got a paintbrush there. If it's one of theirs, then it's not going to be one of their expensive ones, but let's say it's £3. And then you've got the models, which are at least a £5, even if you buy the basic ones. 5, 10, 15. You cannot lose.
No.
Buying that.
If you're a neck round, if you like the neck rounds, that's a good. Yeah.
And they do have a Space Marine one too. There is a Space Marine one, but that I couldn't believe the price on those when I saw that. I just couldn't believe it.
Yeah, it was very. Yeah, I when I first saw it, I had to double check the price, and then I went away and looked at the price of the paints, and I thought there's something wrong here. Something's not quite right, because it goes against everything that everyone's ever said about Citadel and Warhammer, and what I've said about them.
They tend to do that when they got a new edition coming out or new figures. They'll pop stuff out there so you can get it out there, and then once those are all sold, then they revert back to their old shit.
Yeah, well, There you go. That was my little bit anyway.
See, like with me, I mean, I don't like the Necrons. I mean, the only chapters I like of the Space Marines are the Blood Angels and the Templars. You know, those are the only two chapters I like. Oh, I'm sorry, and the Salamanders. Those are the only three I like. Other than that, well, I also like the Mechanicus, as I'll show you guys. Most of the Titans that I have kept are painted in Mechanicus colors. But yeah, I mean, I like the Titans. You know, that's my thing. You know, the Night Titans. I just love painting them. I love building them. You know, I love painting them. And you know what? To be very few of these are painted, have any other than the actual frame that I use when I go in there and I do the framework on them and I do that brass look and stuff to them. Very few of them are painted with Citadel paints.
Well, I mean, that's the cool part about the hobby too. Is, I mean, you can do whatever you want to them.
Yeah, I'll show them in a minute. Whenever you're ready, I'll show them. I mean, they're just.
I'm ready whenever you are, man.
Yeah, these are the ones. Now I've painted many of these, and I used to do them commission work, and then everybody and their mother started painting them. So I just said, no, I'm not. I'm done with them. But these are the ones that I have kept. This one here was a commission build. The guy he paid me and never picked it up. He never paid me the finishing, so I kept it. So this is the first one I've done, and that's done in a House of Color, Createx candies, and also some Badge of Minotaur. He wanted it blue, and I painted it blue, and then I never heard from the guy again. So I kept it. And then the second one I did was this one. There was few in between, but this is the one I really liked because like I said, I love the Mechanicus, so I wanted this one in a Mechanicus color. This is a resin shell, an aftermarket, and then I bought a different resin gun for it, and that big old shield,
That's so crazy.
That one. And then this is another one that I kept was this big dude right here. And they're magnetized. And then I got a bunch of these little guys to run around because I was doing an army of these. So I got a bunch of these little guys to go with these guys, these two red ones. But I love them. I mean, I must have about 12 of these sitting in a box somewhere, that I've never gotten around to. But this one is from a company called Dreamforge. Let me move that this way so you can see it better. And this is probably one of my favorites right here. This guy right here. It's like I said, from a company called Dreamforge. And they come with like armor you could put on the legs and stuff. And I don't like the way the armor looks on the legs. I want to see the actual skeleton of it. I put too much work into that. These move. You can pose them anyway.
The lights blowing out a lot of the colors, though, Gil. It's
how about now?
It's
that better?
That's better. Yeah,
that's better.
Yeah.
And just so people know, if you go on Gil's YouTube page, he shows how to paint each one of these.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And if just the that he does the tutorial on that is by far the best stuff.
Yeah, like that. Like the I know it's a little bright because the way the light's hitting it, but
you're on me, Mark.
To do that to do that kind of work there,
Yeah, it's.
I love painting them. I mean, they're phenomenal. I love doing them.
I'd love to be able to paint like that. I would love to be able to paint with that level of.
Yeah. See, you see that?
Yeah. That's beautiful. Beautiful work. You know, well, you know, Gil, I've followed you for a long time, and I really admire your work.
Yeah, you see the back there? It's all that aged brass.
Yeah, it's fantastic. It really is, and people have got to understand that when you go to Gil or somebody like Gil, and you want a product like this, you want to commission a build to be made for you like this, it's not going to be cheap. These kits are over 100. There are over £100 themselves. The amount of hours that go into making one of these. So, next time you do, if you go and get a commission, try and be realistic over how much it's going to be.
Well, this is what I tell people, and some people, most agree to it, but then you got people that'll haggle with you. They want something like say something like this painted. They want it to look like this, exactly like this. They want the shield, the gun, the carapace, all that. Okay. The kit itself is $130. Then you buy the aftermarket, this part right here. Now that part is Forge World. I don't remember what I paid for it, but it was about $60 for the aftermarket. Just that, 50, 60 quid, somewhere around there. Now you want these parts, the shield and this gun, and then this bolter gun that's in here. Now you're looking at another $100. So now you've already got $300 just in the kit before you send it to me.
Yeah.
Now I get it. Now you want me to assemble it. Okay. You want me to clean? I've got to clean it, scrape it, fill seams, make sure there's no mold lines anywhere. Make sure it's all smooth. So that's going to cost you anywhere between 50 quid to 100 quid for me to sit down and build it. Now you want me to paint it. Okay. You guys have seen me doing that tutorial, how I do the framework. There's 4 or 5 different paints that go in that. Layer on top of layer on top of layer. You could take anywhere between an hour to 2 hours, maybe 3 hours. I've got it down to where I can do it in about an hour. Okay, that's $50 an hour. Now I'm going to paint the thing. So now I got to prime it, depending on how deep you want that color, how many colors you want, what effects you want on there. Okay, now I got to paint it. That's another $200 right there. Now you want it weathered like this big guy here, like this guy here. You want that stippling in there, all this, you want it the metal to show through, all that other stuff. Now you're looking at another $200. So for me to paint something like this, and I used to get it all day long, Mark. You're looking at, by the time I'm done with it, and by the time the cost to you, anywhere between $600 to $800, and that's on the low end. Yeah. I know guys that are far more superior than me, and you're looking at $1,000 to $2,000 to paint them.
And they'll say, but the kit was only 180 or whatever.
I've got one right now that I'm doing. It's like the big one I just showed you, like this big one from Dreamforge. I'm going to do it in a salamander color. That's mine. I'm going to keep that for me. But I'm chipping the armor. I'm scraping it. I'm taking a Dremel and I'm putting dents and everything in there. And I've been messing with that thing for the last 3 weeks. I give it an hour here, an hour there, and I'm sitting there scraping, cleaning. I'm going to tell you something. I'm not touching one of these. Something like this, I'm not touching for under $600. I'm not doing it. Now, that's not because I think I'm that good. I know what my time's worth.
Yeah.
That's what I tell people all the time. And then you see them on eBay where somebody buys the kit, paints it, says pro painted. You take that with a grain of salt. And they're selling it for 180. They're selling it for 180 quid. Well, wait a minute. You just spent in the US. You just spent $130 for that kit, and you're only charging $50 for your work.
That's probably just the paint on its own.
That's what you paid in paint.
Yeah, well, it is, isn't it? That if you were to price up the colours for that one model, if you had to go out and buy the colours for that one model, I bet it probably would be over $100.
I'll give you an example. Here's another quick example. This guy right here. You want me to paint him for you? No problems. I'll tell you where to buy it. Have it sent to me. Now I got to clean it. I got to smooth it. I got to prime it. I got to paint it. I'm not touching this for anything under $250. My end. That's the low end. This little guy here is going to cost you $250 to $300 for me to paint. And I'm cheap compared to other people. Now, if you can do it, I'll show you how to do it. God bless you. Go at it.
I'm guilty of what I just mentioned.
Put the 3 mark so we can talk. All see.
I'm guilty of what I just mentioned to everyone. I had no understanding. I would go into gift shops and I would see models that sat there that said hand painted. And yeah, you can get the ones that are mass hand painted, but you'd get certain models that were very expensive in stores and they were hand painted. And hands up, I used to be one of those people that would go, that's a lot of money, considering it's just been hand painted. And it wasn't until I got into modeling and started painting things myself that I realized how much goes into hand painting something.
Well, here, I'll give you an example. We're talking about Warhammer. I know a lot of people that paint armies for people. And they're painting 100 figures at a pop. Sometimes, but they don't get them all at once. They're painting 20, 20, 20, 20. 10, whatever. But they're painting them in lots. You know what I mean? They have a system down pat because they've been doing it for so long where they can sit down and they'll lay down one color. Boom, 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 boom. By the time that they come back to this other one, the color's dry, they lay down another color. Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
Back and forth. Now, I remember in the early days, I'd ask them when I did them for a while and I just flamed out. I don't like doing them. But I would reach out to people like Moggy and a few other people. What are you charging? Give me an idea what you're charging per figure. I'm talking the little Space Marines. The low end would be $4 a figure. The high end would be $7 to $10 a figure. But that's if you're doing a whole army. So if you're doing 100 of those, that $10 adds up.
Yeah.
Because you're doing them in an assembly line.
And this size.
Right. And that size. You're doing them that size, $5 to $10 each one, but you're doing 20 to 40 of them at a pop. So by the time you're done painting all those, and that's a good paint job, a tabletop paint job, where it's nice, it's good, it looks great, but that's on the low end. I know people that won't touch that figure right there that Josh has, will not touch it for $40 and higher. $40 and higher. And they get it all day long. All day long.
They normally have 3 different scales.
Yes.
So they normally have your basic, like you say,
Did we lose him?
You there, Mark?
I think we lost him. There he is. There he is. We thought we lost you there for a second. You were saying, Mark, your mic is off.
You're muted. You're muted. You're muted.
Okay.
My computer's just informed me that my connection got lost.
Okay. You were saying now about
yeah, so there's normally 3 different
categories.
Yeah. So you've got your first category, which is, you can look at it from a distance, it looks fine.
Yeah.
Then you've got your next category, which is a little bit closer up. It will, people can look at it. It's got a bit more detail. And then you've got your final category, which is the really expensive one. and that is one that will stand up to, they've got to put a lot more effort into it. The artist has to be much more careful. And I've seen the differences.
Oh yeah.
And from a distance, you don't really notice them that much. But when you get up close, there's a massive difference between your cheap version and your more, your expensive painted version. There's a big difference.
Yeah. And it all depends on how you're bait. Now, if you want to, you can have a simple base, you can have this base, you can have all that goes into it. Like, especially with these guys that do tabletop. I mean,
yeah,
Josh, you're more in that realm than the rest of us. I mean, I watch a lot of videos. I talk to a lot of guys that do it, but there's different, you can just have a simple base with nothing on it, a couple of rocks on it. And then you get these guys that want trees and all this other shit on there. And that all costs money, man.
Yeah. I mean, tabletop to me is basically one color. Then you put a highlight color on top of it, maybe a wash. And then, like on the Space Marine ones, you have those shoulder pads and stuff.
Yeah.
You might put like a gold,
Right.
That's it. That's tabletop. Then you go to the next level, and now you're going to highlight all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's basically the next level. And that's not really a whole lot more than what the base,
Right. You're just adding a few extra dollars in there for the highlighting and all that other stuff.
Yeah. And then you get into the, texturing, putting dents, dings, all that stuff into it.
Yeah.
Now you're talking, I mean, some people charge by the millimeter, like $10 a millimeter. And these are 28 millimeter figures.
I know somebody charges $25 per millimeter.
Yeah. I mean, and don't get me wrong, they deserve it.
Oh yeah, they're talented. There's a European brother. He charges anywhere between 25 to 40 euro a millimeter, and you know what? His work is worth every penny of it.
Yeah,
because when you get that is like museum quality work, But how many tabletop players want museum quality work? They just want to put it out. They want a good looking army. That's all they want. And those are the ones. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mark.
Sorry, they just want something that they can put on the table that everyone's going to go, wow, that looks cool.
Yeah. But now you get into the big vehicles and stuff. Now the Titans, the vehicles, the Thunderhawks, all that stuff. Now you're if they want all this flashy stuff on there, that's where the money comes in. That's where that's tabletop.
That's tabletop.
You got it painted nicely. You know what he is. You know what faction he belongs to, and you put him on the table. But you could take that figure there and do so much to that figure where it's no longer tabletop. Now it's museum quality.
Yeah.
And that's where the money comes in. That's where the high-end painters come in. People like James Wappel, Banshee, all those guys. Giraldi, that's where those guys come in.
And like when people talk about basing, I will just touch on this. There's no detail on that base.
None. It's flat. There's nothing there.
But like some of these newer figures, I don't know if it'll show.
Oh, they're coming with some bases on it, with some detail on the base, huh? Cool.
So there's a Necron on the base.
Nice.
So I mean, they're really starting to. Now that figure had two different options of bases. So this guy had just that little bitty rock on his foot, and it might be hard to tell now.
Yeah.
But the other part of this base was not for him. This whole big chunk right here.
Right.
That was one of the options for the other guy. So I kind of did a little custom thing there. But I mean, it's crazy. And then they have these, what do you call them? They're like flats. I got a picture. Like little bitty brush stuff.
Oh yeah.
All the stuff on the top, like on the top of that gold, is all aftermarket. It's a plain black base.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, where did that? Yeah, see? There's nothing,
Yeah.
When people ask you what you want on the base, they're, they can.
There's just so much you can do with it. But you know what? The cool thing about this, Mark, is you still have to have, if you're painting them just to paint them, as a hobby, you're not playing the game. Those skills translate into your modeling, man, because now your brush strokes, your detail, if you're airbrushing them, if you're basing them, all that skill that you're learning there, you can use in your modeling. Like say your ship, if you want to take one of these big Titans and weather them up, well, you can use that same skill to weather up some, more or less to do the ship, how you do your streak and all this other stuff. So it's all interchangeable.
Like dry brushing the bottom of a car.
Yeah.
So it all pops. Like it originally was orange. That orange color. I may not have put as many colors, but you can see the dry brush in it.
Yeah.
And it makes everything just pop. And then all the stuff that, you want back in the background is. And the other part is, I would say, interior work. If you want to get better at interior work in a car, start learning some of the figure stuff like dry brushing, highlighting.
Well, it's like these frames that I do for these Titans. That's all dry brushed.
Yeah.
I lay down a coat of Stynylrez, and then I go in with the different colors and just layer them on as I'm dry brushing them. You just dry brush them on there. There's a skill to dry brushing. There really is. I mean, if you can't just lay shit on there and then have it all clumpy, you got to blend it when you're doing it. And the best thing I've learned to dry, believe it or not, is a makeup brush.
Mm-hmm. That's what I was
just a makeup brush. I mean, you just take it because it's nice and soft. You don't want something too hard because you just something like this that's soft. Beautiful for that kind of work.
Yeah.
So what else you got there, Josh?
I was gonna show some of the stuff out of the Adomicus box. The big thing is the transfer sheets.
That damn sheet is you could probably buy it on eBay, man, for $50, man.
More like 100.
Yeah.
This is one of the bigger sheets.
Yeah.
But that's all for the Space Marines. That's all the different armies that you can do. And all the different armies.
Yeah.
Space Wolf, Blood Angels. Yeah.
And then they have this.
That's that little comic book?
No, this is Edge of Silence. I'm not sure. I mean, if you look, it gives you all the critiques, a description of everything. What figures are what,
Cool.
I'll tell you what, nobody can beat Citadel and Warhammer for their artwork.
Oh, they just got.
Oh, yeah.
That's what drew me in with the artwork in the books.
Yeah.
Check this out. This is.
Yeah. That is just too cool.
They're artists that are, you buy one of their magazines, the Warhammer monthly magazine, and I've never ever experienced anything like it. When you open their magazine, it's just page after page of these vibrant colors.
That's some great marketing, Mark. They do some great marketing, don't they?
they cannot be faulted when it comes to their artwork.
No, they're very good at it.
And then I learned this. I'll try to show this off my phone, but they have this app called Citadel Color.
I have it. Yep.
Is this new? I
No,
found
they've had it for a while. I've got it on my phone.
but paint by the model. You
Uh-huh.
can actually get the paints you need by the model on that.
Right.
They don't have them all on here, but some of the newer ones. Citadel Color System, basing,
Yeah.
advanced guide, inventory and wish list.
Oh yeah, I got mine on there, and I always forget to look at it.
I mean,
I've got one of their color books. I wish I'd got it down now before we'd started. But I've got one of their color books, and you just flick through to the character you're building, and it tells you all the colors you need, and it gives you the steps to achieve what they, specify.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
But it's quite an old book, so it doesn't have a lot of all this new stuff in it.
that is so cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
Now I was gonna show some of this box, but when I did the review on my channel, it took me about 40 minutes to get through the review, and we didn't want to have the podcast go 2 hours. So unfortunately, everybody can go check out the review on my channel if you want. Like I said, I was gonna show some of the stuff.
What's your channel, Josh?
It's just like it says in the bottom of my screen, Rise Dam Designs.
Rise Dam Designs.
But check the thickness of this book. That's
Yeah.
it's the core book. The one thing I will say, I did show some of this book, but once it went to the rule side of the book, I didn't show anymore.
Uh-huh.
Mostly because I don't want GW to come down on me. I hadn't read it all, so I was like, no, I probably shouldn't show that part. But
so hold on, did that come with the Indomitus box?
That book?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, that comes with the. So what do you get in that Indomitus box? Is it a large kit, small kit?
So basically, you're getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Josh, your camera's too close. We can't see what you're. There you go.
Yeah, that's better. Yeah.
Oh, that's not gonna work. But basically, you're gonna get 10 sprues. That book. That book. On the sides here is all the bases. And then there's that. This booklet right here tells you how to put all the stuff together, and I think shows how they're all painted up, what they look like. I will say this, one of the where'd it go? Oh, the bikes, and then it shows you what decals go on the bikes. I thought that was really cool and handy. But there's that. And
so
then,
I actually thought it was one big kit.
Oh yeah,
you get the rule book. I think you get a mini rule book with that too, don't you?
No, let me clarify. I actually thought it was one large kit.
Oh no, you get two separate factions in there. Yeah.
Yeah. There's
You get Necrons and you get Space Marines.
Where did the top of the box go? I think it says on top. I think you get 60 some odd figures inside the box. So when you break down the price, it's $3 or $4 a figure. But
I
then
thought it was that one character that was on the front of the box, that one big character.
No.
yeah. I mean, yeah, you get both armies. I mean, and then you get the core book set. I think the core book set, I don't know if it says a price on this or not, but I'm gonna say this is like $100 by itself, I think. No, doesn't have a price there. No, it doesn't have a price on it. But I at least 50
Yeah.
for that book. And then this was one of the free things they chip in. It's like a little bitty comic book.
Yeah.
I mean, and then once you get towards the end, they kind of show some of the dawn of a new era,
Well, that's cool, man. Thanks for showing that, man. That's pretty.
Yeah. Look at the artwork in it, though. The artwork's tremendous.
Yeah. I like looking at the artwork because it gives you ideas how to paint stuff,
Yeah. But I mean, yeah, that's basically what, in a short view, what comes in the box. If you want to look at what's actually more in the box and what's actually in some of these, like I go through the pages and stuff. So
Cool.
Excellent.
I don't really have anything else unless you guys want to talk about something.
Mark, you got anything you want to talk about?
No. This was Josh's show tonight, so I think he's done really well.
Yeah.
It's been really interesting.
Yep. Be interesting to see how you paint those up, Josh.
Yeah. In the next 2 years. I mean, there's a catalog in front of them.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I'm the same way. Yeah,
I couldn't do that. That'd drive me insane. I'm like, I can do 2 or 3 kits at once, but all that, oh no.
I got them all over. They're all behind me. They're on the side of me. They're over in front of me. They're over here. Yeah. Usually what I do is when I'll just walk in and say, "Oh, let me grab that. I'll finish that." Or a lot of them are sitting in the other room in primer, and yeah.
And then I still have to finish the Warlord Titan at some point. I basically stopped working on that.
I'll tell you just how much crap I've got laying around. This piece here, Mark.
Yeah.
It had been sitting in primer for at least 4 years.
Yeah.
And I walked into the other room where I have my paint booth and most of my paints in, and all
the shelf and hit you on the head.
And no, I was looking for something, and I turned and I looked, and I was going through stuff, and up on the shelving, I look up and I see this sitting there. I'm like, well, what the hell is that? And I said, oh, I forgot about this. Let me paint it. So during the hangout, I sat down and painted it during the hangout.
Yeah.
But it had been sitting in primer for 4 years. I've got stuff in there, like my space battleship Yamato. That's been 3-4 years sitting in primer in the other room, the big one.
Yeah.
And it's sitting there. I got all the parts for it. I got the paints in front of it. Things happen. Squirrel. I see something shiny and I go on a different direction.
Yeah. Magpie.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. You see something shiny, you're like, woo, there you go.
Yeah. Andrew's always moaning at me. I set off to do one thing, and within minutes, I'm already.
Oh, yeah. But once I sit down to paint it, it gets done. But yeah. Other than that, yeah. So that's it for me today, guys. I don't have nothing else.
Yeah, I mean, I basically covered everything I want to cover.
Yeah.
Unless you got something, Mark.
No. So, just close off then. Josh, if we
sign off, Josh, it's your show today.
All right. So for the most part, I want to say thanks for everybody for watching. It's been a real fun week trying to get this show going with work and everything else. So it turned out really, really good. Thanks everybody.
Thank you. Yeah. Thanks for showing us all that stuff, Josh.
Yeah. Thanks. It was really enjoyable.
Something different, but it is what it is.
Yeah, it was, and I'm glad you had a good time with it, Josh. I really am. I'm really
Now,
chuffed with it.
Gordon is not with us today, but he's
No.
not going to be with us for a while. He's got other things that he's dealing with at the moment, and so we wish Gordon
No.
well.
So yeah, I was just going to bring that up. That Gordon's not. He's got personal health issues. That's all I can really say about it. And just wish him all the best. He will be back with us at some point.
Yep.
But yeah, he's
Be well, Gordon. Be well, brother.
Well, yeah.
Well said, Gil. Well said.
Right. Okay. Then we're done then. We'll see you guys next week.
Bye, everybody.
Yeah. Cheerio and take care. And we'll see you all next week. Bye for now.